Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you? Welcome to another edition of my Trap Lives. I started to introduce myself as if I was doing my relationship vlog, podcast, whatever it's called. Um, but no, this is the business. That one is coming back soon, though. That's coming back sometime this summer, early fall. I am mapping that out, but that's a little shameless plug sidebar. How are you? It's the first day of July, and what does that mean? Sir, ma'am, it's almost Halloween. I don't mean to be that dramatic, but it's almost Halloween because the year is skipping, running, jumping, hopping, trying to get away from us. The time is passing. And so we are in the new month, July. Um, And this is a good time, I think. Last week, I spoke to you guys about, checking in with you. Where are you? And imploring you to check in with yourself. And so, hopefully, you did that homework. I love homework. Hopefully, you did that homework, right? And tonight, I really, really wanted to talk about starting with what you have. Sometimes we really overcomplicate things, and I know that there are some of you who have been wanting to make a move on that business idea, who have been wanting to figure out how to legitimize whatever it is that you're doing, or you're thinking about how to turn it into a real business and move it from a side hustle. There may be some of you who you don't even know where to start, right? You may just have an idea, or you are intrigued by the idea of entrepreneurship, but you don't know where to go, right? And so let's have a conversation about starting with where you are. But first, let me tell you this. I posted earlier that I am having on the walls on social media. Let me put this up so that you can see it. I am hosting a Q&A entrepreneur group coaching session next week, Monday. This very same time. Next week, Monday, we're going to get deep into the burning business questions for those who attend. The spaces are limited. I'm not just telling you that because I want you to buy, but the spaces are limited because there's no way that I can give 50 people attention. Like, we'd be there all night, right? And I'm not trying to be there all night. And neither are you. So the spaces are very limited, and we will get down to business. We will get into the questions that you have. You can feel free to send them to me in advance, and we will talk about what you need specifically, advice to push your business forward. So you can visit bit.ly/trap coaching. You can scan the QR code that is on the page, or you can go to Trap Consulting, the Facebook business page, or my personal page on Facebook, and then you can see the flyer and visit the link from there, okay? And then, of course, the link is in the description box for you to sign up, to get more information, to see what it is that you're getting. So that is my not so shameless plug. We're taking the conversation offline next week, so there will be no live next week, Monday. We're taking the conversation over to a paid Zoom group coaching call. Now, one of the reasons why you should attend, not only are you getting custom tailored information for you and your business, but I've gotten so many people who have wanted to work with me, and then they're like, oh, I gotta squeeze you in the budget. And so I say, you know what? Let's do a happy medium. This is the way that you can get your answers, your questions answered from me, but at a better price. Y'all know how I feel about discounting, but I'll give you a bly. And this is just, something that people talk about, right? And having different tiers of service. This is just one of those lower tiered offers. That's it. And so for tonight, before midnight, the next two people, because this has already been used, The next two people who DM me and say that they want a spot, you will get a discount of the seat will be discounted to $30. Okay, the price is actually $49. You'll get a discounted price to $30. I think that's what it worked out to after applying the percentage discount. That's the next two people who inbox me. You could inbox me on WhatsApp if you have my personal number. You can inbox me on Facebook, whether it's through my personal page or the TREP Consulting business page. I will send you that link for you to secure. And then you will have 24 hours to pay and secure your seat. Otherwise, you forfeit it, okay? So you'll get like 45% off of the $49 price. Along those lines. I don't even remember what the percentage is. So let's hop right into it. I will take this off the screen and make it super, super small. And then we'll be able to get into it. All right, so tonight we're talking about what it is that you have. What do you have? What do you have in your hand? There are so many of us. We have this thing about perfectionism, right? And I'm one of those people. Listen. If someone was in the room and said, raise your hand if you have an issue with perfectionism, I put up my 2 hands and a foot, okay? But if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've been saying I am a recovering perfectionist. What that means is I used to be a perfectionist. Sometimes I hop back on that bandwagon, and sometimes I want things to be perfect again in my business or perfect whatever's happening with me. And then I have to remind myself, like, girl, only Jesus was perfect, nothing else. Okay, so let it go. And sometimes, this is all tying in, go with me here. Sometimes people would say to me, well, Shana, one, it doesn't look like you're nervous when you get on camera. And 2, you're so comfortable with it, right? And I'm saying to people, this is the culmination of me being on camera for 7 years. And yes, I still get nervous. But this is the culmination of me doing this for 7 years. And when I realized, like, okay, I have to do this thing because God is directing me to do this thing, I thought that I had to get the equipment, right? And so what did I do? I went and ordered a mini, what's it called? Like a mini mixer board. Sorry, I ordered a camera for my computer. And then I ordered something else as well. I think it was a big ring light eventually, okay? Y'all can let me answer this before you ask. Did I ever use that mixer? No. Because I realized once I plug it in, girl, you don't know how to use this. Someone is going to have to teach you how to use this. Did I ever seek out anyone to teach me how to use it? No. Did I ever learn to use it myself? No. Can I tell you where that camera is now that was supposed to be used on the computer I had then? No clue. But I spent money. In fact, let me say I wasted money. I wasted money because I thought I needed the accoutrements. I thought I needed the equipment. Meanwhile, I already had a camera on the laptop that I had. I didn't need a microphone at that time. Although eventually I did purchase a Yeti, which I'm not using tonight. I use it occasionally. I say all that to say that I thought I needed things to look perfect, right? And then I had to realize that you are wasting time because you're waiting for someone to show you how to use this equipment. You're waiting for perfection. You're waiting for a place where your background could look perfect. You need to stop. And so what did I do? Y'all, I kid you not. For those of you who are Facebook friends with me, in fact, yeah, you'd have to be Facebook friends with me. For that relationship, vlogcast, whatever it was that I was doing, you know what I did? I sat on the floor in my bedroom and I propped my computer up on a stool so that it would be at my eye level. Sometimes in the background, you could even see the closet door next to me in the camera. I even had a friend at that time He said, you know, you could move someplace else and not sit next to your closet while you're recording these things, right? And I laughed and I was a little bit embarrassed, but you know, I said to myself, if only he knew what it took for me to even get to that place of being able to get on camera at all, you know? And so I continued to film on the floor. And then I did some different things, right? And this was before Zoom and what I'm using now, Ecamm and StreamYard and all these different things were either available or popular, right? This was back in like 2017-ish, around there. I started with what I had. So number one, I want to say, don't compare my 7 years to your first month. Don't compare someone else's year 15 with your year 3. What can you do in this moment with what you have? There are some of you who are supposed to be putting your wisdom out into the world, but because you don't have the best lighting, because you don't have the best camera, because you don't have the best this and the best that, you feel like it's not worthy to be done. When the reality is that's an excuse, and I could tell you again from experience. Because should you get those things, more than likely you would find some other reason as to why you can't do it. Oh, well, then now I need a great background. Now I need a place where I can consistently film. I don't want to change my background all the time. Now I need a ring light because, you know, where I shoot is too dark. Now I still need this. I still need that. And the question becomes, what do you have in your hand right now? Because y'all, as I open up, the time is passing regardless. It was just New Year's Day. It was just Valentine's Day. It was just Easter. Now we're about to come up on Independence Day. Then right after that, it's going to be, school is opening again. Then it's going to be Halloween. Then it's going to be Thanksgiving and Christmas. The time is passing anyway. So, what is it that you want to do? What is that goal? What is that vision that you have that you wanted to materialize in 2024? And you know what? Let me change my language. Want it. Let me change that to want. What do you still want to materialize in 2024? And how do you get it? One of the things that they talk about is how do you swallow an elephant, right? I think maybe I made this analogy before. How do you swallow an elephant? You do it one bite at a time. Sometimes we get so focused on the big picture that we can't focus in and say, okay, how do I reverse engineer and get back to this starting point? And y'all, if you haven't heard about reverse engineering is actually, let me Google it before I say the wrong thing and then the internet comes for me. So reverse engineering actually comes from the world of software and machines and all of that, right? And aircrafts and architecture. It's the process of deconstructing something to figure out their exact design. So, how is that relevant to you? If reverse engineering is the act of deconstructing the exact design of something, and you have a vision, maybe you have a vision, for example, of being an author, but you have no idea how to do this. You have no idea how to write a book. You have no idea even how to fill out the book, how to make an outline of a book. You have no idea about the book cover, how to publish the book, how to market the book, where the book is going to go. In fact, let me go even deeper than that. You say to yourself, well, I want to write a book, but I'm not even a good writer. Okay, lay it all on the table. Lay out all of what you think the deficiencies are that you think are present. Lay them out and be honest with yourself. Because a lot of times we're not going to be honest with ourselves, right? A lot of times we're not going to say, you know what? I'm not going to do it because I'm afraid. Well, why are you afraid? Because I don't want to be seen. Okay, well, why don't you want to be seen? Because I don't want to be criticized. Okay, well, why don't you want to be criticized? Because I'm touchy about that based on things that have happened in the past. Okay, and how have those things in the past impacted you? Okay, well, they cause me to hide and shrink, and I don't want to be seen. So I make myself smaller. All right, now you have some place to go with that. So now you know that you have a root. So that big old fear that you have, you've now deconstructed it by asking yourself questions. And sometimes you need somebody else to help guide you to these questions or guide you through these questions. That could be a therapist, that could be a coach, that could be, you could get a business coach, you can get a book coach, they exist. You can get a consultant, a therapist, a strategist. There are so many people that could help you, right? Because if you don't know how to do a thing, you probably need to get help. Whether it be you learn how to do the thing yourself or you pay someone to do the thing. But the point is, you can't get stuck in, well, I'm always going to shrink myself down, because you won't ever attempt to build that business or write that book or publish that course or go out there and get clients or tell people about your business. You have to learn to reverse engineer your dream. And also, I want to say this. If you want to do anything worth it in life, you're going to have to face adversity. There's this thing that we lie to ourselves about. And we say, as believers, if you're a believer, some of us believe that because we're Christian, because we're believers, that things should be easier for us. And my question is, what translation of the Bible is that in? Because the Bible that I read, the Bible that I read, the prophets did not have it easy. Some of them were given messages that they had to deliver that could have cost them their lives. There are some disciples who they really were stoned to death for choosing to follow Jesus and spread the good news. There are so many men and women in the Bible who suffered, but for them it was worth it. So where do we have this thing that we feel like we should be exempt from suffering? And sometimes our version of suffering ain't even suffering. Can I be honest? Sometimes our version of suffering is literally just discomfort. Or we're just uncomfortable in this situation. Our life is not on the line. Our sanity is not on the line. We're not literally running for our lives. We're not. I'm just saying. And I'm not saying this to minimize or demean whatever it is that we're going through or what you're going through. I'm just saying that suffering is just a part of the journey. Difficulty is a part of the journey. Get rid of the lie that says that things should be easy, especially if you say because God told you to do something, it should be easy. Everybody in the Bible had to contend for a dream. Everybody in the Bible that we read and we speak about had to go through something, So I've been going through the prophets, which is why I also have to hop off this call soon. I've been going through in a Bible study, and we started off with this particular Bible study with the prophets. And we studied Solomon and how he was the richest ruler, right, that existed. And people may be like, oh, he didn't face much adversity, etc., etc. Even from before Solomon became king and David, his father, crowned him king, his half-brother was trying to pull the throne out from under him and basically pull a coup. The brother who had technically he was the oldest, right? So at that time, as customary, he would have been king. But he was not chosen, the older brother. Didn't think that was fair. Put together his own little coup and said, okay, well, according to y'all are my followers, right? I'm the king. I'm going to be the next king. And it wasn't until the prophet said, hey, I know this plan is happening, and you need to put Solomon in quickly because his brother is doing some foolishness in the background. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing. That's not the terminology that was used. He went through adversity with his own brother trying to steal what was promised to him. So I say all that to say, don't think that whatever it is, the dream, the vision that is on your heart is going to be easy. That's not to say you're not going to get tired, you're not going to get weary, you're not going to get disappointed, disheartened. It happens. It happens. I promise you. I feel it. I've experienced it. But you got to hold on because I promise you, you will catch another wind. You will catch a second wind. You will. But you have to hold on. But also, you have to believe that whatever it is that you are fighting for, that you are working for, is worth it. You can't always think that money has to drive you, because I promise, if money is the driver for a lot of us, if money were the driver, we would have stopped and said, you know what, I can make money another way, because this ain't it. This self-employed entrepreneur, small business, freelance life, no, I could go do something else to make money, because this doesn't make sense. If that was the only thing that was driving us, if that was the main thing that was driving us. So make sure that money is not your only motivator. But conversely, don't be scared of money. Don't be scared of making money. Don't be scared to ask for money. Don't be scared to charge money, okay? Where are you right now? What do you have in your hand? Where can you start? Maybe you need to brainstorm. Maybe you need to put your business down on paper, or put your idea down on paper to see if it makes sense, to see if you've thought it through. There are so many of you who want to write business plans and you want to ask for money, for grant money and all this different stuff, and you haven't thought your business through. How you get asking for $5,000, $3,000, and you don't even know exactly what you're selling yet? That's called being mixed up. You don't know what you want to sell. You don't know who you want to sell to. You have no idea. You haven't thought about how the business could grow, haven't thought about marketing, haven't thought about anything, but you think that someone should give you $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000, and you haven't thought through your business. That's a level of delusion that I, unfortunately, am incapable of operating in. Wish I could. Sometimes. Okay? Start with it. Maybe you need to brainstorm. 1. 2, you need to get clear. Reverse engineering, as I spoke about before. Take that big idea and chop it down and bring it all the way back to the beginning. So if you are somebody, for example, who wants to be a speaker, because there are a lot of you who want to be speakers. You want to be paid speakers for events, for podcasts, for maybe accompanying your book, whatever it is. Well, how do you get from where you are to being a speaker? 1, sir or ma'am, if you think that you're going to be a speaker but you refuse to speak, explain that to me. I'll move my hair out of the way. Explain that to me. You know, like getting my braids taken out tomorrow. Praise God. And not by me. Explain that to me. You want to be a world-renowned speaker. You want people to send for you, but you refuse to speak. Well, you need to be willing to speak. You need to be willing to open your mouth. You need to be willing to share what it is that your knowledge or your expertise. You need to be willing. If someone says, hey, you think you could speak on this or that, stop saying no. You think you could share some words of encouragement, stop saying no. If someone says, hey, I need speakers on X, Y, and Z, raise your hand. Hi, I think I can do it. Because how are you going to build up the muscle of speaking? How are you going to build up the capability? How are you going to get the practice in? How are you going to get the reps in of speaking? And then there are some of you, you don't want to get on a stage until it's like 300 people, but you're not willing to speak to 5 people. How does that work? You can get from the 5 to the 300 in stages. Now, yes, there may be exceptions where the very first speaking engagement, you may get on a stage with hundreds of people, sure. But the majority, I would wager to say, you start small and then you work your way up. That's how you get the practice. That's how you get to refine your stage presence. That's how you get to see what works for you, what you really love talking about, what people enjoy listening to you talk about, how to relate to the audience, and so many other things. But how are you going to get from, I want to be this world-renowned whatever, to you're not willing to do that thing even in the small ways now? We have to make it make sense. We have to make it make sense. You know, I was listening to a sermon just now by Pastor Jerry Flowers. I forget the exact quote, but he said, you know, so many times we want to bypass the process and just get to the very end of the journey, except that that's not how it works. We have to go through the process. We have to go through some things. That is part of the journey. We can't just blink and then get to the end result. And then, quite frankly, some of us would squander it if we go from, you know, if someone says, okay, you want to be a speaker? Get up on stage right now and speak for 5 minutes to these 300 people. I promise you, if you've never had practice before and never did it, tell me how that would go. Not to say that God can't use you, not to say that God can't speak through you. But a lot of us would have a rough time at that because we haven't had practice, because we haven't made ourselves available to practice. Okay? So really think about what it is that you want out of life. That's important as well. What do you want? What do you have in your hand? What do you really want? And I keep coming back to that question because it keeps being posed to me, and I will pose it to you. What do you really want? You have to be willing to attack it. I always laugh because people say, you know, there's somebody, you know, these memes that say there's someone half as gifted, talented, smart as you, but they're out there killing it because they don't know any better, or because they just have the audacity, or they just believe in themselves that much. You know, I was having a great conversation over the weekend, and the person said something that really made me think, and it was similar to the parable of the talents, but it's like, okay, someone could have, you know, capacity wise, could you know, as a metaphor, have a small container, and their container is running over and they're just killing it in whatever it is that they're doing. And then some of us have a bigger container and we're not running over, we're not killing it. In fact, we might be over here complaining about having the bigger container. I used to be like that. Complaining about having the bigger container, complaining that it's not enough, complaining that we need more. Whereas this person, they have this small container and they making it do what it do. They doing what they need to do well and succeed. It's mindset. A lot of things come back to mindset. So I challenge you, and I did say that I really wanted to keep this shorter tonight. I challenge you to, and I challenge myself and this started about a month or two ago, to attack the rest of 2024. Not out of anger, not out of fear, but just, you know, the words of Denzel Washington with his interview with Jamie Foxx. I'm leaving here with something. I am leaving 2024 with something. God's willing, I get to see 2025. I'm leaving 2024 with something. It can't just be that I'm allowing time to pass and I'm not seeing the things that I want to see happen. That I'm not out there partnering with God to make the things that I want to happen, to make the things or to see the things that He wants for me to have those things. The time is going to pass anyway. So are we going to pass the time complaining, being frustrated, standing there stuck, or setting a target and moving and running towards it? We have, I can't do math, 5-6 more months in the year. That's plenty of time. Y'all, when I say that you can get a life-changing call the same day tonight, you can get a life-changing call at the end of the week. Be consistent. Whatever you decide to do, be consistent with that. Whatever it is that you decide to do. I promise y'all that one day I'm going to look back and I will look at how I got on social media almost every week, talking about business, teaching, coaching, training. And this right here is training ground for me to be on stages, for me to have speaking engagements, for me to train larger audiences, for me to have coaching containers, for me to have high ticket clients. All this is training ground. I'm getting my reps in while I serve you with valuable information. What are you getting your reps in with? And if you don't know what I'm saying, that's like, you know, when you work out and your trainer tells you, okay, repeat something 8 times. Those are reps. I'm here every Monday or whenever I go live, I'm getting my reps in. I'm building up that confidence. I'm building up that ability. I'm building up my delivery. I'm building up my experience. And this is 7 years in the making of me being on camera. With stops and starts, of course. You have to start somewhere. There are some of you, you have a wealth of experience. You have a wealth of knowledge. But for whatever reason, you don't think it's enough. You still don't think it's enough. You still think you need more. Except that every time you say you need more, it's a moving target. So then the question becomes, when is enough for you? When is enough knowledge enough for you? And I'm one of those people. I used to think that I constantly had to learn more. I need to learn more. I need to learn more. I don't know enough. I don't know enough. I know I don't know enough. I still don't know enough. But doggone it, that's supposed to stop me from showing up. That's supposed to stop me from working with clients. That's supposed to stop me from holding sessions. That's supposed to stop me from coming online. Because all of that will stop the future version of me and the things that I'm supposed to experience and have. And that's a reminder to you too. Whether you think you don't have enough or you don't value what you have. You have to value what you have. And I'm not even talking in business. I'm talking about you as a human being. You have to value what you have, and that's you. And that's your experience, your unique mix of experiences of who you are, what makes you you, your knowledge, your career, your wisdom, your experiences, the way that you think, the way that you process, the way that you do things, the way that you break things down. That's you. Nobody can be you. Dr. Seuss says no one can be youer than you. Anyway, y'all join me next week Monday for the entrepreneur group coaching call, which will be off of social media. It is a paid session. It is a more affordable session. As I said at the top, feel free. The next two persons who DM me, send me a message, uh, whether it be through social media or if you have my WhatsApp, my personal WhatsApp, then I will send you the link with the discount code. Um, Seats are extremely limited because I don't want to open it up so wide and then I cannot help as many people as possible. So I will see you all next, if not next week sometime when I go live, because the coaching call is next Monday, then I will see you the week after next. Have a great evening. Have a great week. And I really hope that you're motivated to start where you are, with what you have, with what's in your hand. You could have been doing anything else in the world, but you decided to spend some time with me, and for that, I'm always grateful. I will see you next time. Peace.